I didn't think we'd have to come back to this one. Folks, I didn't think we'd have to come back to this one. I really didn't. I'm going to tell you right now. This is going to be a very, very long video. I hope you had that cup of coffee this evening, and I hope it was strong enough. Because tonight, it's going to get real bad. This is not going to be strong enough for me. Hello everyone, this is T-Bone 2004. It's time to go back to 2007. In 2007, I had made a comment on an episode of Sonic Sat AM entitled Hooked on Sonics. I had mentioned a scene where Tails was disgusted by the sight of Sonic making out with Sally. This scene in particular.
Is grass green? Is water wet? Yuck. Ew, gross.
That was 4 years ago, and they're still commenting off my comment. Now let's go ahead to 2008. Do you remember when I first started ranting on YouTube? I had 3 rants about Sonic the Hedgehog, and those were my rant on Sonic, Sonic Hentai and the animated porn that goes with it, and Sonic Passion. 2 of those rants gained instant popularity, those 2 being, of course, the Sonic Hentai rant and Sonic Passion. Many fans loved those rants, and I consider them my crowning achievement until the Maury Show rant came along. But then the drama began with the voice acting war, and then the Inquisition of Sonic Passion, where several members came and fought for Alex Henriel, and several trolls tried to troll me, iKingyo, Guardian Earth, Lotus-sama, among many others, off the internet. I had no choice but to take those videos down. That was 3 years ago. But tonight, I'm going to rant on those subjects again, and this time, I am not holding back. I'm going to give it all this time, and I promise you, what I say tonight, it's not going to be like 2008. Oh no, I'm angrier, and I still want to get vengeance for what they did to me. So tonight, for my 100th video, I'm bringing you the rant on Sonic Passion. But first, let's tackle an old favorite of mine, Sonic Hentai and the animated porn that comes with it. Now, I'm sure most of you remember the opening where I mentioned SonicCult.org. Remember how I said it contained not 1 but 2 mind-raping pictures for the website's logo? That being Cream hanging from the logo where she gives off a panty shot. And once again, can I ask you this? Do you see the look of horror on her face as she hangs from that logo? And then, of course, there's the other one where Rouge the Bat is hanging off a stripper's pole and Master Emerald is covering her... Yeah, you remember these. Well, as I said before, let this set the tone for the rest of the rant. Now, what exactly brought Sonic Hentai under my radar? Well, here's the key reason. Back in 2008, I had been involved in a massive wave of Sonic fanboys, sadly, and much like Specs 3, I broke away from all the drama. But during that time, I went on the offensive because of certain comics and artwork on the internet. So, for the sake of the true Sonic fans, I had to rant on a few of those things. One of those being a Sonic and Tails hentai known as Do Your Best Sonic. To this day, that comic still haunts my nightmares. Why would someone take their free time to draw something like this, let alone draw up a fantasy of Tails as a girl and falling in love with Sonic? It's ridiculous. But nevertheless, there was more, because 3 years later, I found something even worse. Tails Tales. Kind of a retelling of that same comic. Oh, Lord. But it only gets worse. I had to stop there because I didn't want to rape my mind anymore. But it gets worse. Furry Bomb issues 1 through 5, featuring famed Japanese furry artist Toyjo Toybox, drawing a slew of Sonic-related pornography. Granted, the artwork is nice, and it still kind of has that Sonic Team feel to it. It's still porn. Do you guys realize that kids might stumble on this? And I'm not talking about tweenies and 13-year-old boys. No, we're talking kids as young as 6 years old here. So if they want to get on the internet and look for pictures of Miles Tells Prower, Cream the Rabbit, Amy Rose, etc., 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 and they find all this, how are they going to explain that to mommy and daddy? Seriously. And speaking of 6 years old, remember what I said about Cream the Rabbit? It still applies to this day. Granted, she hasn't been in a Sonic game since 2006, she's still being seen as a sex object. Why would you do that to a little girl? What are you, Jack McClellan or something? Seriously, Chris Hansen might want you to have a seat right over there right now. All jokes aside, I can understand where they are coming from. You see, some perverted folks like young anthropomorphic cartoon characters in porn, the term being known as cub art. Well, in the furry community, that's what it's known as. But here's my honest opinion, it doesn't need to be seen. As I said in the earlier rants, it's still pedophilia. And that's interesting because most people love that sort of stuff. Most people love that sort of stuff, and I think that's just disgusting. But would you believe that over the course of 2 years after my Sonic Hentai rant, many ranters followed suit and did that exact same thing I did? It seems that my following has certainly grown. Kudos to everybody who followed suit. And then, of course, there was Newgrounds.com, where I said Sonic the Pervert was a horrible game. Now, after that rant, I decided to try it again. And I have to say this now, the game is rather funny at some points. Nothing really needs to be taken seriously, but come on! Stripping the girls down and avoiding Censor Man. That's kinda lame. But here's the shocker. I found more Sonic porn games. I've seen some that involve Amy, Rouge, Shadow, etc., 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 just to name a few. And some of those were just thrown together because creators knew their fans wanted something to fap to. Truly pathetic if you ask me. If you're curious enough to see how much fail these games are, look them up on Newgrounds.com, and while you're there, play some of the good games there. Some of those games on Newgrounds are epic win. Okay. At this point in the rant, I know what you want. I know what you all want. You've been begging and pleading to me. Oh, T-Bone, please bring the Sonic porn rant back. Please bring the Sonic passion rant back. Please bring it back. Please bring it back. And I made that video for a reason, to say, all of you who said, bring Sonic passion back, bring Sonic passion back, please bring Sonic passion back, you talked me into it. So, here it is. Yeah, you knew this one was coming. Sonic Passion.